One crisp, early morning in Thailand, Abigail, the spirited little miniature pinscher, sensed excitement in the air. She had seen her owner, Kai, whom she fondly called Mommy, pack a backpack with snacks, water, and a camera. Today wasn't an ordinary day of lounging or playing fetch. No, today, they were going on a new kind of adventure, hiking in the mountains. Abigail had never been on a mountain before, but the idea of exploring new paths, smelling new scents, and sharing an adventure with Kai made her tail wag uncontrollably. After a quick breakfast, they set off, both ready for the day ahead. Their destination, the beautiful mountains of northern Thailand. After a short car ride, Abigail and Kai arrived at the base of the mountain trail. The view was breathtaking, lush green trees covering the hills, the mist rising off the ground, and the sky a soft blue with the sun just peeking through. Abigail's little paws couldn't wait to hit the ground. As they started the hike, Abigail trotted happily next to Kai, her tiny feet making soft crunching sounds on the dirt path. The trail was surrounded by towering trees, and the forest was alive with the sounds of nature, birds chirping, leaves rustling in the wind, and far-off waterfalls whispering in the distance. Kai smiled down at Abigail. "Are you ready for an adventure, Abigail?" she asked. Abigail looked up and barked in response, as if to say, "I was born ready." The trail started off gently, winding through the forest, with rays of sunlight streaming through the canopy above. Abigail's nose was working overtime, picking up all kinds of new smells, fresh earth, wildflowers, and the occasional whiff of an animal nearby. Every few steps, she'd pause to sniff a plant or listen for a sound, her curiosity piqued by this new world around her. The trail soon began to climb, becoming steeper as they ascended the mountain. Abigail, despite her small size, was full of energy. She bounded up the rocky path, her paws nimbly navigating the stones and roots. Kai followed behind, keeping a steady pace, occasionally calling out words of encouragement to her little explorer. As they climbed higher, the forest began to open up, and Abigail could see the valley stretching out below them. The view was stunning, rolling hills, sparkling rivers, and far in the distance, small villages dotting the landscape. Abigail paused for a moment, her tail wagging slowly as she took it all in. Even though she was a little dog, the world felt so big and full of possibilities. As they continued their climb, Abigail's keen senses picked up something interesting. Her ears perked up, and her nose twitched as she caught the scent of another creature. Suddenly, a small group of monkeys appeared, swinging from tree branches just ahead of them. Abigail froze in place, her eyes wide with curiosity. She had never seen monkeys before. The monkeys, noticing the small dog, stopped and watched her for a moment, their heads tilted with interest. Abigail's little body quivered with excitement. Part of her wanted to chase after them, but she stayed by Kai's side, knowing this was all part of the adventure. Kai chuckled softly and knelt beside Abigail. "Look at that, Abigail. You've met some new friends." Abigail gave a small, playful bark, as if greeting the monkeys. After a moment, the monkeys continued their journey through the trees, leaving Abigail standing in awe. She watched them disappear into the forest, her tail wagging slowly as if she couldn't believe what she had just seen. As they climbed higher, the sound of rushing water grew louder. Abigail's ears twitched in excitement. There was something magical about that sound. After another turn in the trail, they reached a beautiful, cascading waterfall tucked into the side of the mountain. The water tumbled down from the rocks above, creating a shimmering pool at its base. Kai led Abigail closer to the waterfall, and Abigail dipped her paws into the cool water. It was refreshing after the climb, and she gave a little happy bark, splashing around playfully. Kai knelt beside her, smiling as she watched her little dog enjoy the moment. The waterfall created a peaceful, serene atmosphere, and for a few moments, they both sat quietly, enjoying the cool breeze and the sound of the rushing water. Kai took out her camera and snapped a few photos of Abigail in front of the waterfall. "This is a moment we'll want to remember forever," she said softly. Abigail, feeling proud of her adventurous spirit, posed like a true explorer, her tiny body framed by the beauty of the waterfall behind her. After a short rest by the waterfall, Abigail and Kai continued their journey up the mountain. The path became steeper, and the trees thinned out as they neared the summit. Abigail, though smaller than most hikers, showed no signs of slowing down. Her tiny legs moved quickly, and every time she looked up at Kai, her eyes seemed to sparkle with determination. As they neared the top, the trail became rocky, and Abigail carefully navigated the stones, her paws nimble and light. Kai followed closely, making sure her little companion was safe. They worked as a team, and soon, they reached the summit. The view from the top was nothing short of breathtaking. The entire landscape of northern Thailand stretched out before them, mountains, rivers, forests, and villages as far as the eye could see. The sun was higher in the sky now, casting a golden glow over the entire scene. Abigail stood tall at the summit, her tail wagging furiously as she took in the beauty around her. She felt proud, like a true adventurer who had conquered the mountain. Kai knelt beside her, wrapping an arm around her tiny dog. "We made it, Abigail. You're a real mountain climber now." After spending some time at the summit, taking photos and enjoying the view, it was time to head back down the mountain. Abigail, though a little tired from the climb, was still full of energy and excitement. She bounded down the trail, her paws expertly navigating the path, while Kai followed behind, keeping a careful eye on her. As they descended, the sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting long shadows through the trees. Abigail's pace slowed a bit, and Kai noticed her little explorer was starting to get tired. She picked up Abigail and held her close, letting her rest for the final stretch of the hike. Abigail snuggled into Kai's arms, her eyes half closed as she listened to the sounds of the forest around her. The adventure had been everything she had hoped for: new sights, new smells, and the thrill of exploring a mountain with her beloved Kai. As they reached the base of the mountain, Abigail looked back at the trail they had conquered together. She had chased monkeys, splashed in waterfalls, and seen the world from a mountaintop. It had been a perfect day filled with adventure and discovery, and even though her little legs were tired, her heart was full. Kai gently placed Abigail back on the ground, and they both walked the final few steps together, side by side. As they headed home, the sun setting behind them, Abigail knew that this was just one of many adventures they would share together. Whether they were climbing mountains or simply exploring the backyard, as long as she had Kai by her side, every day was an adventure worth remembering. Here comes to the end. I will see you guys later. Love you guys, Abigail.